Imagine an island accessible only by boat or helicopter. A hotel famous for its style and luxury, and all only 3 hours away? Sounds too good to be true. Not on Gozo. Alison Common couldn't wait to investigate Malta's sister island. One of the first things you'll notice when you step off the ferry at Gozo is a complete change of pace. They seem to have two speeds here, languid and I'll do it tomorrow. Now, a party island it isn't. I think the last time they had lively nights here was when they were crusading in the 1500s. But what it does offer you is a real chance to relax and, if you're so inclined, soak up some of the real tangible sense of history. The island's capital, Victoria, is true testament to the laid-back lifestyle here. No traffic jams, no rushing commuters, just the odd grocers and places to buy local knickknacks. It's not exactly your usual souvenir shop, but that's the way it is when you come to Gozo. You almost step into the everyday way of local life. There aren't the tourist traps and areas that you'll get in other islands. Around every corner there are reminders of days gone by. The citadel, built in late medieval times, was a refuge for the islanders from attacking Turks and corsairs. Gozo, being situated right in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea, was a valuable strategic point and often under threat. Now its shady streets and sturdy walls still harbour some impressive buildings, though some are beginning to show their age. And then there are the churches. There are a lot of churches. 365 to be exact, on the whole of the islands. That's one for every day of the year, or 14 to visit on a 2-week holiday. Everywhere you look, there's churches. Of course, being a good Irish girl, I couldn't resist picking one to have a look at. The nuns would have been proud. And I have to say, this, the Shrine of Our Lady of Tapinu, is a pretty special place. Of all the churches on the Maltese Islands, this is the most visited. It's said that back in 1883, the voice of the Virgin Mary called one of the local farmers' wives in to pray, and then praying here thereafter could have sometimes healing or miraculous effect. And behind me are some of the letters and relics of thanksgiving for prayers answered. Another name for Gozo is the island of the Three Hills, and if you can make the effort to climb to the top of one of them, you'll get the most spectacular, panoramic, coast-to-coast view. Now, maybe I brought it with me, but there's a definite hint of Celtic mysticism in the air, especially at Gigantesia. It may look like a pile of old rocks to you, but this temple is the oldest freestanding building in the world, dated at about 3600 BC. And in fact, apparently, these 20-foot-high, 50-ton boulders were carried right across the island by a giant old lady on her head who would not mess with her. Anyway, I'll give it a shot. Well, she was obviously a bigger woman than me. You know what I mean? Now, no trip to the island is complete without taking to the sea along the dramatic east coast with its spectacular rock formations.
That's the blue grotto. Very nice.
And this is the big one, isn't it?
Yes. It's the blue window, a blue window. Very nice.
Any bits ever fall off? It's a hard life, isn't it? Hi!
We are approaching the fungus rock.
Oh, this is the famous fungus rock because
Famous for the fungus used to grow on it. They used to make medicine for the fungus that grow on that. It's completely surrounded by sea.
he's doing me a piece of camera for me. I'll just sit here and shut up.
Let me translate.
Apparently this fungus they found up at the top of this rock. I don't know how to describe it. The best way to say it would revive a man's flagging spirit. And anybody who was caught stealing it, now it's just available on the NHS. They don't have many beaches here, so the ones they do have are very popular and can get extremely crowded, but it's worth it when you look out on this called the Blue Lagoon, locally and affectionately, and you can see why, because you could almost be in the Caribbean. It's so crystal clear, almost like a swimming pool. Or if that's too much effort, try lazing by the real thing. The Hotel Tichench on the south coast is a well-designed and discreet retreat. It has its own individual charm and character, which filters through to every room. I'm in a standard size one, which is big enough for two, but it's sheer heaven for one. I always say there's no harm in spoiling yourself a little bit, which is what I'm going to do just before dinner. Dinner is a big event because, being so remote, the hotel is the evening's entertainment, which is a good thing as it gives you a chance to meet the other guests and you haven't got far to walk home.
That week in Gozo costs £478 in July. The price includes flights and transfers and is on a bed and breakfast basis. Details of that and all the holidays featured are on CFAX page 618.